Number 1, it says to find the zeros of the function. That means we're going to have to factor the expression, set the factors equal to 0. My expression is 2x squared plus x, bless you, minus 3. I like the multiply, divide, slide method. Multiply 2 times negative 3 gives me negative 6. Factors of negative 6 that will add to give me positive 1. Negative 2, positive 3. Put those into temporary factors. X minus 2, x plus 3. I'm not done. These are temporary factors. Divide by my leading coefficient. Negative 2 divided by 2 reduces to... Does this reduce to a whole number? If it doesn't reduce, slide the 2 in front so that I get 2x plus 3. These are my factors. To find the zeros, you set each factor equal to 0. So that I get x minus, or x equals 1, and x equals negative 3 over 2. So what's my answer? A. So number 1 is A. Number 2, what is the vertex of the graph? F of x is equal to x squared plus 10x minus 9. To find the vertex, you do the opposite of B. So what is B? B is 10. So the opposite of B divided by 2. H equals negative 5. To find out what K is, because remember, the ordered pair for the vertex is H, K. Plug in negative 5 into your function.
Isn't it for H, don't you multiply your A because it's 2 as well?
No.
Is it the opposite?
No. I need to look into that. I can't really remember off the top of my head. But if it was A, what is A? 1. So does it change? Okay. So to find K, you plug in negative 5 in for X. What do you get? Hannah, why don't you come up here, please? What do you get when you plug in negative 5 for X?
Negative 34.
So what do you get for number 2? What's my vertex? D. Number 3. I have which of the following is a result from completing the square for the expression. I'm given x squared plus 8x minus 30. Set it equal to 0. To do completing the square, first off, I have to move 30 to the other side. So I have x squared plus 8x equals positive 30. To find what goes in here, I have to take 8, divide by 2. What do I get? 4. What's 4 squared? What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So when I factor this, whatever I get here goes here. Is that the way it's given to you? No, I have to bring 46 back over. So I get x plus 4 squared minus 46. So what's my answer to 3?
B.
B. Is there a question?
Why did it go to
Because I factored.
Oh.
Alright, the next one is they're given an expression for selling X items, and they want to know the number of items sold for the company's profit to equal to 0. So that means I'm going to do negative x squared plus 70x minus 600. Do y'all see how x squared is negative? I don't want x squared to be negative, so what I'm going to do is multiply this whole thing by negative 1. So I want to make x squared positive. Is everyone okay with what I just did? So I changed this to, anytime I multiply anything by a negative, it changes the sign. Because I want my x squared to be positive. If you kept it a negative, you would have had to multiply negative 1 by negative 600, and then at the end divide by negative 1. This makes it to where I don't have to divide by anything. Alright, from here, because x squared has a positive 1 in front, I'm going to take 600 and find the factors of 600 that will add to give me negative 70. Auburn, what were they?
They were, wait, like the one that gives it to you? Or
Yes.
Negative 10.
Negative 10 times negative 60 gives me positive 600. Negative 10 plus negative 60 gives me negative 70. So my factors are going to be x minus 10, x minus 60. You can call them temporary factors because if I divide by my first number, what do I get? Same thing, right?
I just transformed up.
Nope, it doesn't change it because my is 1. Janiyah, here, if you would have done the negative, from here I would have had to have divided by a negative. If you didn't do this step right here, if you stayed here, you would have had to divide by negative because the number in front is a negative 1. Because this is a positive 1, I divide by positive 1. Come on, go away. It doesn't like me. Alright, so once you get your factors, you're going to set each factor equal to 0. So I'm going to have x minus 10 equals 0 and x minus 60 equals 0. So that x equals 10 and 60. So what's my answer? Alright. Number 5. Says that a garden measures 8 feet by 12 feet. So I'm going to draw my garden. This is 8. That's 12. And it has a walkway around it. So I'm going to draw a walkway. The walkway has a uniform width. That means this whole thing is the same size all the way around. The area covered by the garden and the walkway is 192 square feet. How do I find area? Length times width. So area is equal to length times width. Do we know the width of the walkway? No, that's what we're trying to find. Alright, so if this is my length, how much is this section right here? 8. Do we know what this area is? What about this one? How about this area? Are y'all okay with how I'm doing this so far? Alright. Because this is my length and this is my width, my length is going to be how many x's? 2x plus 8. My width is what? 2x plus 12. And what is my area? 192 square feet. When I'm doing this, I have to make sure everything is set equal to 0. So for this problem, I'm going to distribute my factors. So I get 4x squared plus 24x plus 16x plus 96, right? 8 times 12, 96, equals 192. Alright, I'm going to add 24 and 16 together, which gives me 40x. Now I'm going to subtract 192 from this side. So what's 96 minus 192? Can a number go into all three of those? 4. 2 goes into it too, but 4 goes into it better. So I'm going to divide everything by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so it leaves me with x squared. 40 divided by 4 is 10x minus 24 equals 0. We're going to factor this so that I get x plus 12 x minus 2 equals 0. Set both of them equal to 0 so that I get x is equal to negative 12, x is equal to 2. So what's my answer? The reason why my answer is 2 is because can I have a negative 12-foot walkway? No. So my answer is going to be A, 2 feet. Alright. Number 6. The formula of the surface area of a cone is given as that. Which equation shows the formula in terms of S? So I'm given the surface area is equal to pi r squared plus pi r s. And we're solving for S. I don't think so. Alright, so we're solving for S. First thing I'm going to do, subtract pi r squared from both sides. What do y'all think I'm going to do next? I'm not going to subtract. Divide. I divided pi r from this side, so I had to divide it from this side. So that S is equal to SA minus pi r squared divided by pi r. So what's my answer? Oh, that was a backwards C. What happened to what?
The S.
It's right here.
Oh.
Are there any questions so far? Alright. Alright, so number 7 says, what are the solutions for 2x squared minus 2x minus 12? Solutions is another word for zeros. That one is already worked out for you. What's one thing I noticed?
They're all
multiples of 2. So I'm going to divide this whole thing by 2. So I get
X squared minus 6 minus 6 equals 0.
Alright, what are factors of negative 6 that will add to give me negative 1?
Negative 3 and positive 2.
So what's my answer? Yep, C. Alright, the next question it says for you to omit. So number 8. Yes, omit means not to do it. Alright. What do solutions mean again?
Answers.
Find the answers, find the zeros. Alright, do I have anything that will divide into all 3 numbers?
No.
No. So, because I don't have anything that will go into all 3 mom numbers, I have to use the multiply, divide, slide method. 6 times negative 40 is negative 240. So using the calculators, everyone needs to try to find the factors of negative 240 that will add to give me 1.
Negative 16, negative 15 are positive 15.
Y'all agree? You just have to try to find factors of 240 that will add to give me negative 1. So you just have to start plugging in numbers until you find which ones work. So I could take 240 divided by 15 and see if that will give you negative 16. So does 15 times 16 give you 240? Yes. Does it add to give you negative 1?
Yes.
Yes. So these will work. So I have to do x plus 15, x minus 16. These are temporary factors because this number right here is greater than 1, or it's something other than positive 1. So because of that, I have to divide by 6. This can reduce first to be, and what about this one? Now slide. Are we still trying to find the solutions? Yes. And set both of them equal to 0. So what's the answer to number 8? D. Alright, number 9. What are the solutions of the equation? X squared minus 5x equals 14. What do I have to do? Move 14 to the other side. Why does it keep switching to yellow? I don't know.
Maybe it's trying to show it's different. Oh, wait, no,
It could be. Alright. Factors of negative 14 that will add to give me negative 5. 2 and 7. Set them equal to 0. so that I get x is equal to 7 and negative 2. So what's the answer to number 9? C. Number 10, guys. An object is thrown into the air with an initial velocity of 5 meters per second from a height of 9 meters. The equation is given that models the height of the object in meters after t seconds. How many seconds does it take for the object to hit the ground? What's the height of the ground?
0.
Do y'all notice how I have a decimal point in this problem? I don't like decimal points. I don't want them. I hate them. So I'm going to multiply everything by what to get rid of the decimal point?
4.9.
What moves the decimal point? 10. But what do I have right here?
Negative.
Do I like negatives?
Negative 10.
So I'm going to multiply everything by negative 10. What will this become? Mm-hmm. Actually, guys, I take it back. We know something, besides factoring, is this going to be really ugly trying to factor?
Yes.
Do I know a way to do this without factoring? The formula, what's the name of that formula? Quadratic formula. Opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Can we fill in the using the equation we got with 12?
If we want to, we don't even have to multiply by 10. So a, what's a? What's b? What's c? Plug that into your equation.
That's what I always said quadratic formula. I'm like, what? We use quadratic formula on pretty much all of these.
I did. That's what I did.
Instead of doing it the hard way.
Factoring is not the hard way if they give you easy numbers. Okay.
Is that formula going to be on the formula sheet?
I believe so.
Right.
It's not.
What did y'all get for this? You should get a positive answer and a negative answer. What's the positive answer? Yes.
No, I figured it out.
What's that number?
Negative 4.9, 1.7 squared. Oh, so you plugged in this one.
No, when I did the project, I got that.
Alright, so you're going to do 4 plus this, so yeah, 5 plus second answer and divide by 2a. So 2 times negative 4.9. Alright, so that doesn't work. So I'm going to delete. So now I'm going to do 5 plus second answer. I just did plus. 5 minus second answer gives me that. So then divide by 2 times negative 4.9. Let me make sure. I'm going to pause this real quick. Is C. Alright, number 11. Alright, next question. 11. What are the solutions for the system of equation? Alright, because you're allowed to use graphing calculators, I suggest using a graphing calculator for this. It's not B. C. Graph them.
How do we do variables?
This button right here. It's the button underneath mode. Alright, so if I graph my 2 equations, -0, -6, I do 1, be 5, 7, 12 minus 6 is +6. That's going to be too hard, dude. Just graph these using the graphing calculator. That's the best way to do this. Because it's a quadratic, I'll do it at the end. Alright, so after you graph this using the graphing calculator for number 11, you should get answer C. Number 12. Guys, please quit talking. What appears to be the solution for the set of system of equations shown in the graph? The solution is where the 2 graphs cross. So what's the answer? (13). A flying disc is thrown into the air from a height of 25 feet at time t equals 0. The function that models the situation is given, where t is measured in seconds and h is the height in feet. What values of t best describes the time when the disc is flying in the air? Alright. So if I throw a disc in the air, at the beginning, where is it at the very beginning when I toss it? The height of it. 25 feet. Then, when the disc is flying in the air, it starts off at 0, it's at 25 feet, right? Then, when the disc falls, what's the height? 0. So I know, to begin with, the disc is in the air at 0. So can it be C or D? No, because eventually it falls, right? The height is 0. So it can't continue on and on and on forever, right? So it can't be C or D. Now to find out if it's A or B, use the quadratic formula. Yes. Use the quadratic formula. Opposite of B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Where A is negative 16, B is 75, and C is 25. So after you plug this into the calculator, you get that the time is 5. Sorry, it took me a sec to register what you said. So my answer is A. 14. Use the table to answer the question. What is the average rate of change over the interval -2 to 0? What's the formula for rate of change? What's y2? What's y2? 5. What's y1? What's x2? What's x1? 15 minus 5 is? 0 minus -2 is? -10 divided by 2 is? So what's my answer? 14 is B. 15. What explicit expression can we use to find the next term of the sequence? Ooh, sequence. Is it arithmetic or geometric? Geometric. Why? Of? So 15 is C. All you have to do for C is plug in the term number for N and find which one of those equations will give you the correct answers. So if you do that, you get that 15 is C. Problem 16. The function represents the height of an object from the ground after time t when the object is thrown with the initial velocity and an initial height of h, where a is the acceleration due to gravity, which is 13 feet per second squared. 32 feet per second squared. Thank you. A baseball player hits a baseball 4 feet above the ground with an initial velocity of 80 feet per second. About how long will it take the baseball to hit the ground? So using this, we have to plug in into the function. Velocity. What's the initial velocity? $80. We don't know what t is. What's my height? What is A? 32. And we still don't know what t is. What is 32 times a half? Can a number go into all three of those?
4.
I'm going to do -4 because I don't like the negative in front. So we're going to have t squared minus 20t minus 1. Use the quadratic formula to find t. What do you get for t? Use quadratic formula. What do you get for t? What do you get for t? Hmm? You probably already have the answer. What's the answer? You don't?
Hey. You're just guessing.
Exactly. I'm not going to tell you if you're just guessing. What's the answer for 16?
A. When you plug quadratic formula.
Wait a minute. How are you going to solve it if the number on the radical is
Is it a negative? 20 plus or minus the square root of 416 over 2 times 4. Guys, everyone needs to have the calculator and do this. I'm tired of asking. It's just taking y'all way too long to find the answer. What is it? E. A cafe's annual income depends on X, the number of customers. The function describes the cafe's total annual income, and the other function describes the amount the cafe spends in a year. The annual profit is given by the difference between the annual income and the amount spent in each year. What describes P? A. Because it says P is the difference between the annual income. So the annual income was 4x squared minus 20x. So that's your first one. Minus the amount spent in a year. So it's going to be minus 2x squared plus 5. 4x squared minus 20x minus 2x squared minus 5. So I get 2x squared minus 20x minus 5, which is A. Which statement best describes the graph of f of x plus 6? B. Because it's x plus 6, that means the graph is going to shift left 6 units. So B. Number 19. Which of these is an even function? C. Which statement best describes how the graph compares to the graph of x squared? D. It does reflect across the x-axis because A is negative, and because A is also negative, it's going to have a vertical stretch by a factor of 3. So 20 is D. The tables are shown. Which statement compares the f of x and g of x over the interval 0 to 5? It's not A. D. The reason why it's D is because f of x exceeds the graph, exceeds g of x between the interval 0 to 4. That means it's greater. But some point between 4 and 5, the graphs will intersect because then g of x becomes greater. So the answer is going to be D. Which statement is true about the graph of exponential functions? C. An exponential function will eventually exceed the graph of both the linear and quadratic function. And the last problem, 23. Which statement best describes the comparison of the function's values for f of x and g of x? D. The reason why it's D is because you have to find the next x value of 5 by using the formulas. So the answer to 23 is D.